Hello there people, this is Bruce Call or Nintendo Bruce, and we are back on Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Decade Duels for the Xbox 360, and I have a little deck recipe to show you. Now, two things I want to bring up before I show you the deck recipe. First is, I've been getting a lot of questions about the game Decade Duels, like where it's disappeared to, that people really want to download it and just can't find it. Unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be no plans for it to be coming back. It has been gone for a little while now, but yeah, there's no word from Konami or on the internet. There is a rumour going around that apparently a license has expired or something like that, but there's nothing solid from what I can see. So for those of you that have downloaded the game in the past though, the full game, and want to get it back, it is still possible to get it through your download options, I believe it was. But yeah, if you want it fresh, then I'm afraid you're not going to find it. Second thing is, ignore the deck name Psychics and Morgue. I have been trying to work quite hard on that, and I still haven't got it running properly. It's been quite funky, don't get me wrong, but it's not fluent, it's not consistent, and I'm not going to post anything up that isn't consistent. So if I can't get this running smoothly, then I might have to abandon the idea of Psychics and Morgue and then either separate them, so do a complete Psychic deck anyway, and a Darks and Morgue deck separate, or even do another little combo between the two. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens anyway. So on to the deck itself. This is a Final Countdown deck. The idea of this particular one isn't just to stall, but to find Final Countdown as soon as possible. Now that does sound pretty obvious anyway, but there's a few extra cards in here to help you get it instead of having to wait like 10, 15 turns down the line or whatever before you finally grab it. So weaknesses wise, I'll go through first as well. As the deck is now, there's not a lot of resistance to effect damage. There never really is with Final Countdown decks. So if you're, be prepared to be against a burn, have a match, use a side deck, go from there. And also, it's prone to decks which have a lot of effects going on. So whether it's something similar like another Final Countdown deck or Exodia, or even a deck which is constantly using effects to then blow up your field, that could be quite irritating. So again, Monarch decks on that matter can be quite irritating, getting rid of the few monsters that are in this deck. So other than that though, against your average or even a beefy beatdown, or especially against a deck that doesn't know what it's doing, then yeah, this is going to whoop them anytime at all. So, as per usual, we'll go through monsters, then spells and traps, and I'll show you the little funky combos in between as well. So, first up, only 2 Arcana Force Zero the Fools. I think 3 is a bit too much. Yes, it is for stalling, but the last thing you want is someone taking your Arcana Force Zero, putting it into attack mode, and then sending it back to you. You know, you don't want 3 of those. And on that front, this deck again is about searching Final Countdown first before any stalling, to a degree anyway. So yeah, only 2 of those. 3 Cyber Valleys, mainly for the first effect, the fact that it can negate the attack phase and you draw a card as well for searching. Try not to use the other effects if possible, because end of the day this is going to help you stall, it will waste an opponent's turn, and yeah, there you go. So 1 Marshmallow as well and 1 Morphing Jar. Goes without saying, staller and clear through the hand. Fantastic. 1 Sangan. End of the day, this will help you find what you need, whether it's a Morphing Jar or a staller. There are only 9 monsters in this deck, so you're going to need all the help you can if you need monsters. And 1 Spirit Reaper, again just for stalling there. So not a lot for monsters, mainly stalling and clearing through the hand. Going on to spells now. Card Destruction. The plus with this, besides speeding through your deck to try and find Final Countdown, is if you can, you will end up with a lot of rubbish in your hand after Final Countdown. So obviously there's 3 Final Countdowns in the deck. If you draw the other 2, you can use that as fodder with Card Destruction. So yeah, you get the point there. Obviously 3 Final Countdowns goes without saying, pay 2,000 life points and 20 turns later you win, as long as it hasn't been negated. So you want to find this first off before anything else. Goes without saying. 2 Gold Sarcophaguses. If you haven't already found your Final Countdown, then use that to get it. Or if you have, then get your big hitters, things like Torrential Tribute, Mirror Force, or a huge stall card like Level Limit Area B or Gravity Bind, depending what you need. Speaking of which, 1 Level Limit Area B, obviously for stalling and it's continuous. 2 Magical Stone Excavations. Now, I'll show you the trick with this card a little bit later, but all you need to know if you haven't come across it yet is discard 2 cards and add a spell card from your graveyard to your hand. A bit more stalling, Messenger of Peace. I don't even run 2 or 3 of them in the deck, because a lot of decks now seem to have 1400 attackers, and yeah, it can get you out in a pinch when using synchro monsters and stuff on the opponent's turn anyway. But I wouldn't rely on this. I'd rely on the complete defences like Level Limit Area B, Nightmare Steel Cage, etc, etc. Speaking of which, 3 Nightmare Steel Cage, a total of 4 turns for Final Countdown, which is awesome. What can I say? More stalling, Swords of Revealing Light, 3 turns gone, / 6 turns of Final Countdown, awesome, awesome. And 3 Upstart Goblins. Now, again, this is mainly to flick through the deck to find Final Countdown as quick as possible, but if you found it, then feel free to use it if you need to, or again, use it as for the card destruction or Magical Stone Excavation. You get the point, very, very versatile. And now the traps. So, 3 Dark Bribes, they will be your main counters for Heavy Storms, MST, if people are playing Wave Motion Cannon, etc, etc. Gravity Bind, Continuous Stall, what can I say? Now this is a unique part of the deck, not Magical Stone Excavation, I'm coming to that again. So, Magical Hats. The point with this is if you get this and you haven't got Final Countdown yet, then use it, bring one of your Final Countdowns out and have it sent to the graveyard, and then use Magical Stone Excavation to bring it back again as soon as possible. That will help you immensely, and it has helped me. In terms of this deck, it has been the average that you get Final Countdown within the first 4 turns, which is quite nice. So yeah, very unlikely it's going to take any longer than that, but don't get me wrong, it has happened before. Obviously, like any deck, you're going to get your bum hands, aren't you? So yeah, fantastic. Get a Final Countdown, or use some of the rubbish that is then in your deck after using Final Countdown. So again, the remaining 2 Final Countdowns, even Gold Sarcophagus if you want. You get the point. Mirror Force, big hitter. 3 Threatening Roars. Again, waste the turn of the opponents, and they can't attack. Ideal to use at either the beginning of their turn, so they can't do anything, or when they're about to go into their main phase, their battle phase. What can I say? It's up to you when to use it. Only you will know when the time is right. Torrential Tribute, again a big hitter there. And 3 Wabokus, practically the same as Threatening Roar. Use it when the time is right, when someone is using MST or Heavy Storm. Speaking of which, Threatening Roars and Waboku, I like laying at least one of them down with one of the big stallers like Nightmare Steel Cage or Swords, etc, etc. So say if someone does do a Heavy Storm, you've still got backed up from taking from having no damage being inflicted to you, as long as it's not effect damage anyway. So that's the point with this deck then. Try and get Final Countdown as soon as possible, obviously, and then just stall for 20 turns. Now, another way to play this deck, well actually I say another way, the main thing to play it in terms of stalling is to have a set trap which would help you in a pinch, and a big staller which is already active on the field. That will help you immensely against Heavy Storms, Monarchs, etc, etc. What can I say? That's a big thing with this deck. Don't do what quite a lot of people do, which I've seen play poorly online with 60 card decks, having as much stalling as possible and just laying it all down, because that's just asking for trouble, it really is. So yeah, that is the main hint there with stalling. And yeah, like I say, the unique little trick, Magical Stone Excavation and your Magical Hats to get your Final Countdown. So yeah, lovely stuff. Extra deck, as I always say, have it just in case, plus to fool the opponent occasionally. Yeah, lovely. And side deck, as always, I never really think through my side decks, but so far this has been quite good. So up against Burns, you've got Prime Material Dragon, as well as Heavy Destruction, this can counter as well. Swarm of Locusts, so if you know that your opponent can't break through your stall but still wins through other means, then yeah, use that, and maybe a Swarm of Scarabs to, well, get rid of them essentially. What can I say? What can I say? Heavy Storm, Lightning Vortex, that can surprisingly be helpful as well. 3 Light Imprisoning Mirrors for those god-awful Light Sworn decks, and 2 Masker Restricts. To be honest with you could even take out a Solomon and have a third one in there if you was worried about Monarch decks. But yeah, that's what they're mainly in there for. Monarchs and Light Sworns, these are the main cards you're going to need. So, Solemn Judgment as well. Obviously, you're not going to want to waste your life points, but some needs must. You might have to do it after using Final Countdown. And yeah, that is the side deck, as well as the whole deck in its entirety. So, if you guys wanted to use it, go for it, and if you've got any suggestions or anything, then great, post it and help out others as well. But yeah, as always, if you like it as well, then do like the video. I appreciate any help possible, or favourite it, I'd love it if you could. And yeah, I will hopefully have a conversation in the comments section below. So as always, you guys take care, and I will see you again soon.